was always going to happen, wasn't it? The minute I released a hype video for the West Coast Main Line Preston to Carlisle route by Just Trains, no more than an hour later, another dev blog comes out. So it's my absolute pleasure, as usual, to take you through the dev blog, because we've got some details this time about the rolling stock that is included with the route. Welcome once again, by the way. Hope everybody is doing well. So this is the Just Trains dev update. We've been going through these. I will, of course, leave a little link to this dev blog so that you can get to it directly. That will be in the description below. We've got more screenshots. We've got more things to drool over in my case. So let's have a look, shall we? So this update will showcase all the other rolling stock included with the Preston Carlisle route outside of the 87 Mark 3s and Mark 1 NHA. We're taking time to add further additions to the 47/4 fleet to allow for more options when driving or passing one of these locomotives along the route. Included are a number of extra variants and liveries. The Class 101 has seen a considerable amount of work from Ed Fisk to bring it more into line with newer TSW rolling stock. The venerable Class 08 Shunter has also seen further updates, including more livery variants that were seen around Carlisle at the time of the route. The BBA Steel Wagon also features to provide further freight variety, as steel trains between Wales and Scotland were a regular sight on the West Coast Main Line north of Preston during the 1980s. In addition to improved existing rolling stock, we've also included a set of FFA and FGA container wagons to provide extra work for the 87s outside of the express passenger turn. So, in this update, we're going to finally learn what kind of freight it is that will be running between Preston and not just Carlisle, but Kingmore Yard as well. As we saw on the route map video yesterday, we're going to be able to go all the way up to Kingmore, just north of Carlisle, with the freight. So let's look at each one of these in turn, shall we? So starting with the Class 08. As seen in Blackpool branches, the Class 08 provides a key part of any BR era route. It certainly does. It sort of pops up everywhere, doesn't it? The ability to move coaching stock and wagons around with ease makes them perfect for station pilot duties. At Preston, you will once again find the Class 08 is seen shuffling parcel stock throughout the night, but it also now gains a couple of daytime duties. This includes a complex operation of shunting involving one S45 and one P22. One S45 ran as the 0750 from Manchester Victoria, whilst one P22 operated as the 0745 ex Liverpool. These services both arrived in Preston. Diesel hauled and would see the locomotives removed. Following this, the station pilot 08 would then couple up and join the two trains together, thus forming a single rake of coaches up to Carstairs, where the train once again split with a section for Glasgow and the other for Edinburgh. We've recreated this shunt in game and it will certainly keep you on your toes. I quite like that kind of activity with the 08, and we saw this with the Diesel Legends, where a train would come into Paddington and then we had to use the 08 to come in and remove the coaches off the back. It was actually, those were some of my favourite duties with the 08. Bringing in coaches from the siding as well, ready for service into Paddington. All good stuff. And it carries on by saying, away from Preston, the Class 08 features heavily at Carlisle with both a North and South End station pilot in action. The North End pilot takes care of shunt releases for services arriving into the bay platforms from Glasgow, whilst the South End pilot mainly sees use during the night. Upperby Depot features an 08 for shunting of coaching stock, and Kingmore sees a number of the class in use on a variety of trip workings into Carlisle itself. We've included a number of minor variations of the BR Blue livery in this pack. These include differences such as rod colouring, buffer beam paint, and a version with a red soul bar. So the 08 is really gonna appear quite a lot in this route at both ends. And also as AI, we're obviously going to see this as we're at Carlisle station or Preston station, running up and down, doing its thing, working through all its little services that it's got, and it'll just be fun to actually spawn in on foot and just watch some of this activity taking place. Then there's a little bit of detail about the 47. This is the class 47/4, and this has seen further minor improvements. From a visual perspective, it includes new livery variations and over 20 extra nameplates to ensure you continue to see a number of different locos across the route, just like in real life. And I've said this before, when we were running Train Sim Classic and we ran it was the Class 86 enhancement pack on the West Coast Main Line over Shap in TS Classic. I was commenting there that I enjoy the fact that AP always put in nameplates on the locos, and some of them I remember from being a kid were quite familiar to me, so it's nice that Just Trains are also doing that with the 47s. And it carries on to say, whilst all the original Blackpool branches 47s are included, which are the BR Corporate Blue, Large Logo and Intercity Executive, you'll see new liveries with variations as follows: 47-520 and 47-562 Sir William Burrell, featuring standard BR Corporate Blue with black headcode boxes, and the latter also displays the small Scotty Dog decal above its nameplate, a signature of Eastfield TMD in Glasgow, where 47-562 was based during this era. Intercity ScotRail is a variation of the Intercity Executive livery featured in Blackpool branches, and we'll see that in a screenshot once we get down to the bottom of the article. But it's got a number of changes, chiefly the BR era ScotRail decal on the body side, but also split colour headcode boxes. A number of the Intercity ScotRail locomotives also feature snowplows, and these appear on the correct engines seen carrying these photos during 1986 and 7. Additionally, further decals have been applied, such as Scotty Dogs above nameplates. And finally, we've also made an additional variant of the BR Large Logo Blue livery. This one carries black headcode boxes. Depending on what locomotive you spawn or pass in timetable mode, you might see a plain black headcode box, Large Logo, God that's a mouthful, such as 47457 Ben Line, or you may find a surprise, such as 47644 The Permanent Way Institution, featuring its large red nameplate, large Scotty Dog decal and snowplows, setting it aside nicely from a standard blue 47/4. Finally, we've also added Inverness allocated Highland Rail variants of the 47/4 in large logo livery. We've decided to recreate the Scottish-based locomotives on the basis that they regularly strayed away from the central belt in the case of Eastfield, but also from Inverness, meaning you'll never be sure what might drop onto any of the 47 hold services across the route. It keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? Because we've been talking a lot about the route, but now we know a little bit about the rolling stock, the amount of detail that's going into the rolling stock, the nameplates, the Scotty Dogs, the other decals, will be instantly familiar to anyone from this area and is used to this route from a real life perspective. So you've got to applaud the amount of detail that they're putting in it. The Class 101, we know the Class 101 is being updated. This has been mentioned several times as well, but here is the detail. And the 101 will bring it in line with TSW5 content through these updates. It includes suspension, but also a raft of further visual improvements to warrant its inclusion in the product, including enhanced exhaust effects. You'll see the typical blue haze on idle and a cloud of exhaust behind as you accelerate through the gears. Changes to the interior have taken place. New lighting makes the passenger interior look much more in keeping with TSW content, while changes have also taken place in the cab. Again, there's some screenshots coming up with this, including the removal of the wooden window surrounds evident on the Northern Trans Pennine version of the unit. The passenger interior itself has been retextured to give it a subtly different and more accurate feel, whilst also improving the visuals. The wiper bug that saw strange strobe-like colours on the front end at night has been fixed, and new destination blinds specific to the West Coast Main Line Preston Carlisle route now feature. Here's a summary of the main changes for the 101: full pneumatic simulation for gears, throttle and final drives, as well as other revisions to vacuum brake system to bring it closer to reality. Some new audio, including new vacuum brake sound, Deadman's system implemented, interior texture improvements, minor exterior texture changes, roller blinds appropriate for the route, guide to driver buzzer on departure and guard mode, AWS change end and isolation implemented. Previously this used one lever instead of two, and the aforementioned new exhaust effects. So I've been telling you guys to get on the 101 and start practicing, and I've been saying that mainly because of the gearing in the 101. So the gearing's probably going to be the same, but it's going to perhaps feel like a slightly different DMU to drive with all these changes, certainly from the cab. Let's see. I like the upgrade to the sounds. That's got to be good, and the new exhaust effects. One of the things I like about Armstrong Powerhouse products in Train Sim Classic over the standard DTG and other rolling stock that you get from Steam is that they always work on exhaust effects, and it makes a massive difference. If you look at the TS Classic, for example, just one example, if you look at the TS Classic Class 37 packs, it almost looks real, you know, and I don't know, I've not seen this yet, but I don't know what effect this will have with the 101 that Just Trains have done. But again, I'm expecting good things for this. I'm looking forward to it. Other coaching stock, the Mark 1 BG and Mark 2 FK/TSO feature once again. Changes on these are less noticeable, but they provide an important part of consist across the route. The Mark 1 NHA, which is a variant of BG, will be discussed in the next dev entry. So there's another dev entry coming up before it releases. So we've only got, we've got 14 days to go. So probably, I'm gonna guess in a week's time we'll get the next update. We've got the BBA steel carrier. So again, this is giving us a clue as to what freight we're gonna be moving up and down the route. The steel carrier is included to allow more than one variation of freight traffic for Class 87 lovers, whilst the Mark 3s will see you racing across the landscape at 110 miles per hour. The BBA will have you lumbering around with over 1,000 tons on the drawbar, making for an entirely different challenge when using the tap changer to gain momentum. There's going to be a bit of learning on this route. There really is. We know about the 87 already with the tap changer. Now, also changing your driving style for if you are working passenger or freight, as it says there, is going to be another skill we'll all have to learn. Then the FFA FGA Freightliner container flats. The FFA FGA container wagons run in sets. These are randomised in our consist, meaning you'll see multiple inner FFA wagons before you see one of the outer FGA wagons, providing a more varied and interesting scene in timetable mode. We've included both the 20-foot and 40-foot containers in various colours, whilst licensed containers in the original Freightliner red and white livery are also seen. Again, these all spawn in random formations, so you'll never see the same Freightliner train twice. Aside from the looks, these wagons also make for a challenging drive, much like the BBA, except the FFA FGA can travel at speeds up to 75 miles per hour. This proves to be a handful, with services once again weighing upward of 1,000 tons in some cases, whilst you'll find a couple of the Freightliner trains feature two Class 87s for motive power, just as they did in real life. Try driving one of these trains in heavy snow and master the wheel slip. It's a total difference to the passenger service. There's a challenge for you. We kind of did a passenger service over Shap in TS Classic about a week ago. Most of you will have seen that video. But I think in TSW, I think it's going to be a completely different challenge to that one. So again, it just whets my appetite for it even more. We'll have a look at the screenshots before we go. I want to thank Just Trains actually for this article and for the words. Of course, the words are all theirs, as you can see. So let's have a look at one of the 47/4s. This is Sir William Burrell, which was mentioned in the article. You can see the Scotty Dog decal there as well on the side. This is just outside Carlisle station. And then we can see the interior of the 101. So yes, the wooden window frames have all gone. The passengers are back in their 80s shell suits, which is quite nice to see. Looks like it's in the depot, the 101's there. And here's the interior of the 101 with the new lighting. I believe the lighting, it wasn't board lighting like that, was it, last time? It wasn't fluorescent strips. I think the lighting was much dimmer than that, as I recall. We got the front end of the 101 as well. Well, it's the back end actually. There we've got the tail lights. It's platform 6. Is this Carlisle station? It looks like Carlisle station to me with the wall down the side. If that's going to Morecambe, that is a bit of a trek in the DMU. I'm not going to lie. 101 again just outside Carlisle station, just showing it from the exterior. These are the exhaust effects, as you can see on a night shot. This is the parcel wagon or van or coach, depending on your point of view. Probably a parcel coach, isn't it? I think we saw these. Did we see these as static on Blackpool branches just as you leave Preston on the left hand side? I'm almost sure we did, but it's nice that those are in. Another one of the 47s, 47.514. This is Andrew Carnegie with the Highland Rail decal on there, and there's the black headcord box as well, which was mentioned. It's a large logo 47. Again, another large logo 47. I can't really see what that says on there. Industry something. Anyway, this is 47.639. Again, it's gone back to the yellow headcord box there on this one. Another parcels coach there in the BR blue and grey. And then we get on to the ScotRail Intercity. This is the ScotRail variant of the Intercity 47.469. This is Glasgow Chamber of Commerce. Can't wait to drive that. We've got the snowplows on the front as well. One of the coaches, the blue and grey coaches that were mentioned. Here is the faithful 08. And it's there outside the power box. I think is that Carlisle power box? Looks very much like Preston power box in real life, but I think just look at the scenery in the background. This is Carlisle power box here. One of the Freightliner containers, and again following behind one of the 87s on its way out. More Freightliner action here. And is the BBA steel wagons, and that is that's the last photograph that we've got this time. So once again, thank you for watching. We've got loads to come, haven't we? We really have. So looking forward to it. I can't say any more than I did yesterday about how hyped I am for this. It did say we've got one more dev update to come, so I will be back before this releases with a bit more excitement. But yeah, tell me what you think. They keep adding and releasing bit by bit more, don't they? I like the way that they've done it. They've built up the story of this route and what's included as we've gone on over the last few weeks. And you know, for me, it's just getting better and better. But I want to know what you think, so make sure you let me know down in the comments below. Lots of great reaction to yesterday's video regarding the route map, and this one is coming out quite close to that one. But what do you think? What do you think of the rolling stock included? What do you think of the ability to use rolling stock from other routes as well to further pack it out? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.